You cook his meals, you keep the house running, you remember everyone's birthdays, manage the schedules, handle everything emotional. And when you ask for one thing, just one thing, for him to tell you he loves you, to actually show you affection, to look at you like you matter, you get nothing. Maybe a grunt, maybe he changes the subject, maybe he makes you feel ridiculous for even asking. And you're standing there thinking, am I really too much for wanting to feel loved by my own husband? You see him laugh with his friends, you see him get excited about sports, about his hobbies, about literally anything except you, and it's breaking you because you know somewhere in there he cares, but caring isn't enough when you're dying for connection and he's giving you absolutely nothing. If this is crushing you right now, if you're living in a marriage where you feel invisible, yeah, let's talk about what's actually happening here. But before we get into it, if this is hitting home, hit subscribe on Mura Psychology. We're breaking down the psychology that makes you who you are. Here's what nobody warned you about. You can be married and still be the loneliest person in the room. You can sleep next to someone every night and feel completely alone because he's there physically, but emotionally, he checked out a long time ago, and you're the only one fighting to keep this thing alive. You initiate every conversation. You plan every date night. You're the one trying to create intimacy while he's perfectly content existing in this cold, dead space you call a marriage. And the worst part? He doesn't even see the problem. To him, everything's fine. He's working, he's home, he's not cheating. What more do you want? And that question, that what more do you want, it guts you every time. Because what you want is so basic. You want him to actually see you, to ask about your day and mean it, to touch you in ways that aren't just about sex, to make you feel like you're his wife, not his mother or his maid or his roommate. You want to matter to him the way he matters to you, but you're starting to realize that might never happen. And that realization is killing something inside you that you're not sure you can get back. Think about what led you here. You probably spent years making excuses for him. He's just stressed. He's not good with words. That's just how he is. You convinced yourself that if you were patient enough, understanding enough, if you just loved him harder, he'd eventually open up. But he didn't. And now you're exhausted from trying, exhausted from being the only one putting in effort, exhausted from feeling like you have to earn affection from someone who promised to love you for life. The first thing destroying your marriage is he was raised to be emotionally shut down. His father probably never hugged him, never said he was proud, never modeled what healthy emotional expression looks like, and his mother probably enabled it, made excuses for it, told him that's just how men are. So he grew up thinking feelings are weakness, that real men don't cry, don't talk about emotions, don't need connection. They just work, provide, and keep everything locked inside. And now you're paying the price for programming that happened decades before you even met him. And here's what makes it so painful. He's not doing this to hurt you. He genuinely doesn't understand what you need. In his mind, he's being a good husband. He shows up, he works, he doesn't cause problems. That's love to him, but it's not love to you. You need words. You need presence. You need him to actually engage with you as a human being, not just exist in the same space. And that gap between what he thinks is enough and what you actually need is tearing you apart. The second thing is, he's terrified of being vulnerable with you, because vulnerability means risk. It means you could reject him, hurt him, use his feelings against him. And he's been taught his whole life that showing weakness invites pain. So he stays guarded. He keeps everything surface level. He tells himself he's protecting himself, but really he's just building a wall between you. And every day that wall gets higher. Every conversation he shuts down, every moment he pulls away when you reach for him, another brick goes up. And you're on the other side screaming to be let in, while he pretends he can't hear you. Think about how isolating this is for you. You can't talk to your friends about it because they'll just say all men are like that, or at least he's not cheating. You can't talk to him about it because he'll get defensive or shut down completely. So you're trapped, carrying this pain alone, wondering if you're being unreasonable, wondering if this is just what marriage is, wondering if you made a mistake. The third thing is, he thinks providing equals loving. He goes to work, he pays the bills, he keeps a roof over your head. And in his mind, that's him loving you. That's him showing up. Why do you need more than that? But here's what he doesn't get. You don't need a wallet. You need a partner. You don't need someone who just exists in the house. You need someone who actually wants to be with you, who chooses you every day, who makes you feel like you're the most important person in his world. And right now, you feel like an afterthought. And honestly, this might be the hardest part to accept. He might never change. Not because he can't, but because he doesn't think he needs to. He's comfortable. This works for him. You're handling everything emotional, and he gets to just coast. Why would he put in effort when you're doing all the work? And the more you compensate for his emotional unavailability, the less incentive he has to step up. You've accidentally trained him that he can give you nothing, and you'll stay anyway.
The fourth thing is unresolved trauma is running his life and he won't deal with it. Maybe he watched his parents' loveless marriage. Maybe he was bullied for being sensitive. Maybe an ex destroyed him and he never healed. Whatever it is, he's carrying wounds he refuses to acknowledge. And those wounds are controlling everything. They're keeping him distant. They're keeping him cold. They're making it impossible for him to connect with you. But instead of getting help, instead of facing it, he just shuts down. And you're collateral damage. And here's what's so unfair. You can see it. You can see the pain he's carrying. You want to help him. You want to be there for him, but he won't let you. He'd rather suffer in silence than admit he's struggling. He'd rather destroy your marriage than face his own demons. And there's nothing you can do about it, because you can't force someone to heal. You can't love someone into being emotionally available. They have to want it, and he doesn't. The fifth thing is you've stopped asking for what you need because you're tired of being disappointed. You used to tell him what you wanted: more affection, more communication, more effort, but nothing changed. So you stopped asking. You stopped hoping. You just accepted that this is your life now. And that acceptance is dangerous because it's not peace, it's resignation. You've given up on him ever meeting your needs. And once you give up, the marriage is already over. You're just waiting for someone to make it official. And look, I need you to hear this. You're not asking for too much. You're not being needy. You're not being unreasonable. You're asking for basic human connection from someone who's supposed to love you. And if he can't give you that, if he won't even try, that's on him, not you. You've done everything you can. You've been patient. You've been understanding. You've loved him through his walls, his silence, his emotional absence. And if that's not enough to make him show up for you, then he's the problem, not you. So what do you actually do? First, stop protecting him from the consequences of his actions. Stop making excuses. Stop pretending you're fine when you're dying inside. Tell him the truth. I'm unhappy. I feel unloved. This marriage is failing. And if that makes him uncomfortable, good. He should be uncomfortable because you've been uncomfortable for years and he hasn't cared. Second, set real boundaries. No more doing everything emotional for him. No more managing his relationships with his family. No more being his therapist, his mother, his emotional crutch. If he wants those things, he needs to show up as a husband, not just a body in the house. Third, get yourself support. Therapy for you, not couples therapy, just you, because you need to process what this is doing to you. You need to figure out what you're willing to tolerate and what you're not, and you need someone to tell you that your needs matter. And here's the hardest truth. If he refuses to change, you have to decide if you can live like this for the rest of your life, because this is it. This is who he is, and hoping he'll wake up one day and suddenly become the husband you need, that's a fantasy. Either accept him as he is and stop expecting more, or leave and find someone who can actually love you the way you deserve. The next time he walks past you without a word, without a touch, without even acknowledging you exist, ask yourself this: how much longer can I do this? How much more of myself am I willing to lose waiting for him to care? Because every day you stay in this is a day you're choosing him over yourself. And at some point, you have to choose you. If this is your life right now, if every word of this felt personal, know that you're not alone. So many women are living this, and some of them find a way through it, some of them don't, but all of them deserve better than what they're getting, and so do you. Subscribe to Murrah Psychology if you want more real talk about relationships and the psychology behind why they break. Remember, a man who can't show love isn't a good husband. He might be a good provider, a good worker, a decent human, but he's failing you where it matters most, and you staying doesn't make him better. It just makes you smaller. So either he steps up or you step out. But stop living like this. You deserve more, and deep down, you know it.